What's going on, everyone? Today you're looking at fancy, happy Keurig. This is the Keurig Mini, and this thing is fun to open. So you start looking at it, and you're looking all around. And I've had it open before, but that's why I figured I'd make the video. And okay, you find screws on the bottom. First, you find two plugs, which are right like this, and you got to pop them out of the holes here. So you figure, oh, that's the ticket, right? No, there's nothing down in them holes. Actually, they're actually vacant holes, and they're really deep too. So you think that you look down, it's hard to even tell. But there is two screws in the back here, the very back, just two. Take them two out. All right. Set it back up. I'll leave this right here for you guys to show you. Now the trick is, where to start is right here. You're going to want to get like some type of spudger instrument. This will work, but I don't even need this. I already started it. So you just get a corner going, get it popping, boom, that pops. Pop the front off. It's almost like if you ever opened up a cell phone to get the battery out. Them types, okay? So you get both sides loose and then stop. Because now at the back, there's another issue. Is up here is in the center is a clip right here, okay? If this come off, there's still you see a clip there, and on the back of this is two little locks that lock into there, right? So you don't want to get it off of there, you want to get the bottom first. Get the bottom out and pop that. Yeah, that actually came out easy. But if you see it right here, oh, it's because it broke off. Snapping it back together. But that is tight, super tight, and you'll really fight with it to get it off. And then once you got it off, now you can kind of look at the unit. There's quite a bit going on here. Basically, here's your circuit board. You got a lot going on with the relay, and then you got all kinds of temperature sensors and just thermal checking, and almost redundant on how much there is backup on backup for temperature on this, which is a good thing. However, it really threw me for a loop. Now, actually, the biggest loop wasn't that. I'll show you what threw me for the biggest loop. And, well, you look way down in here, and where's my pointer? Because it's impossible to do without it. To show you, oh, it's stuck. So you go, see, right, okay, not it. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, right here. No? Where'd it go? Oh yeah, the screw goes right there. Can you see that? Hope you guys can pick that up. The screw is right there. You'll see it from looking down in, okay? You'll see it right there. And then this here is just a post, and then it sleeves in and actually locks in also. So I pull that screw out, and I'm like, there's no other screw, so how's this come apart? Well, you just take the back and you just go like this. Just pop it. And oh my god, it seems very, very brutal. But it actually really isn't too bad. And then the rest is, again, it's like working off taking off a phone. Ow. It stabbed me. Getting water all over. I thought it was empty. For a heftier spudger, you know what I use is one of the old butter knives. And man, them work nice. And they're a lot stiffer and stronger than the spudgers are. But to get this off the front, you'll see it's just little clips that clip in. So you just gotta pry it apart here. And I'll get on this side and pry it. Hopefully you guys can see that good. Try not to pry myself in the mix. Oh, that one's tight. There it goes. And just pry that, and now see you got the top right up nice and loose. And I know my mom, this is my mom and dad's, but they got one from our aunt, or they gave her one for Christmas, and that one was blue. So just to let you know that there is all different shapes, colors to these, but again, it's the Keurig Mini. Now once you got this off, the catch tray here actually slides out or pulls out. Okay, and you got that out of the way. Throw that somewhere. And so now I've worked on a couple electronics in my days. So I go, oh my gosh, these are the heating elements right here. I want to test these. You'll see down in here we got a thermal cutoff switch, which is right here. I'll bring that in so you guys can see a little better. Yep, the red is the thermal cutoff switch right there. And it comes around through. There's a temperature sensor here, or another type of cutout, I'm not totally sure. But you see it right there, it's silvery. And it's got the two tabs on it. Actually, this is a fusible link wire, actually, is what I call it. I think is what it actually is called. You see them in microwaves and that. They always have the sleeve over them. You pull it back, and you'll see a little fuse in there. It's a one-time shot, though, with them. When they blow, that's... I did a video on that, showing that they reset, and they actually didn't. The ones I had were one-time shotters, so... Now... there's all kinds of videos on how to clean these and that. I'm not going to get into that. But I go, okay, my problem is right here. Or I want to test right here, the heating element. The problem they were having was heating. It would start heating and it would cut off. Well, these posts right here told me all day. I go, oh, that's heater elements. That's the heating element. I got them all day. I got bunches of them. And they always, when they attach something to them, it's soldered on now, but it wasn't before. It was like tack welded on, okay? So I because of the metal that they use, that's why you can't, it's harder to solder to, or it's quicker to tack weld it or whatever, but you'll always see it soldered. Well, and because with it being a heating element, if it was a heating element, which this isn't, if it gets too hot, the solder's going to melt, and then you're going to lose your connection. So that's another reason why they weld it together. So anyways, so I soldered these back together, but when I tested them, I was getting into K ohms. So I said, oh no. So I ended up getting this all apart, taking this apart, and I find out that this cup is empty. There's still water in the bottom half of this. It's still left in there. There's a seal in here, a red seal. And all these are different lengths. One is like, how did it go? One went down into here, and the other one was like up in here. So they must sense where the water line is at. So basically in the bottom is your heating element, and that's the thing, is you don't want to have that heating element for 1 second. And I found out the hard way. It cost me a couple $100 at the time when I was living in Florida with the jacuzzi heating element, and there wasn't enough water going to it, and yeah, fried it. Yeah, fried it in no time. So that's how heating elements are. They have to have water around them, or you will just burn them, and then they'll just burn right through the case, and the whole thing will just be in meltdown mode. So, but I did forget, after I did do this, I didn't think it was even going to work, so I didn't even care. But it seems like I got it fixed, or we remedied the problem, we think. And it was like a faulty overflow switch is actually what it was. So I didn't even clean up the flux or anything on this, and we're going to keep trying it again. The biggest thing is I want to show how to open it up. But then I had the black one labeled and the other one. Oh, in fact, here on the side you can see what I was getting for my measurements. Yeah, I wrote 4 mega ohms across them two. And then I tested the fusible link and the thermal, it's a thermal cutout. Yeah, that's the thermal cutout. That's the fusible link right there. The thermal cutout is actually, it's a bimetal wafer, and when it gets too hot, it pops, and when it pops, it's actually gonna kill the connection. It's gonna pop and pop up, or pop like this, and the connections are on the bottom, on right here, and like, yeah, too much holding on. So it's shaped like a cup, like this, or cup shape. So there's one here and one here when it's fine. When it pops, because it's warm and the bimetal stretches it, it goes, pops like this and doesn't make the connection. You lose your connection that way. So yeah, you can see how much fun this thing is to work on. I had the top all the way off and everything and disconnected. There's a lot of sense wires, but I'll try to get in here and show you where the actual heating element is. And it's really hard to find. I was looking all over and it's right there. And I mean, it's going to be brutal to bring this in to show you too. It's black too, so it matches the background. It's right there. And then that black wire is that's one, and then on the other side is the other connection for it. And secondly, there is a connection right here. This is what we believe. See this with the T on it? This has a T coming off the back. See there? Yeah. This actually is a I believe it's got to be what you'd call like an overflow or an excess valve. And is what it does, it just goes to here and it drops it into your overflow tray. So that's all that does. And it actually there's a pair, we'll say four wires all going to here. And it must be some type of sensor because there's an aluminum block. It sure looks aluminum. It's right there on the bottom. And the only thing that makes sense is that senses any type of water. And that seemed to be part of the issue is what we were having. It was getting filled too much and that sensor was not working right. And this was seeming to be sticking even though it looks super clean. I didn't clean it or nothing. That's how it was. So when it has too much water or whatever in it, in the system, instead of pushing it all through, and it would ruin your coffee then because it would be watered down, it drains it off here. And hopefully your overflow can handle it. And this one being I guess it's one big cup it makes or something. 6, 8, 10, 12. So I'm guessing that's cups. I don't know. I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm sorry about that. And that's all it is. We'll get this back together here. I'd like that not to be sitting on that. We'll get the front on. Actually, you know what? Doing it before the back is much easier. So you'll see this peg right here. Hold on. The peg goes into one little cubby keeper hole here, and that helps hold this pump on over here. And then your screw goes in the screw goes in this one, and these two pegs kind of lock it up in there. So that's why you gotta pop it to get the back off, like I showed. And it does take a little bit of fussing to get it to line up. It's just how it is. And once you get that set, then it's just popping all this in, back in, like that. Not a whole lot to it. And slap that back in, pop this guy. You know what? I gotta finish up the wiring in that. Trying it, I just had these wires sticking out the back. And that's because I disconnected the cord. I got the cord right here. Had it disconnected because I had the cord running through this, and you can't pull it through unless you disconnect it, and it was just everything was everywhere and all over the place, and I wanted to make it easier of access, and especially figuring I was eventually going to pretty much have to get it plugged in and test every single thing and what was working and what was not, and because the circuit board looked fine. In fact, the circuit board, there's a screw that goes into the circuit board somewhere near the bottom. Yeah, it looks like right here on the bottom. Right there is a hole. And on the top is a little clicker that's like this. And when you push the board down in, it goes and locks it in. So to get it out, you got to push that tab in. And that unlocks it. And that's about it for the Keurig Super Mini Mic. No, it's just a Keurig Mini. So, I guess it's quite popular, but I looked all over the place on the favorite tube and found nothing that had to do with it, so I figured I'd throw a video together. I'm really debating whether... I'm trying to really ponder whether I believe we have it fixed and it's good to go, or it's just not fixed and it's going to come back and haunt us as to whether to hook all this back up, because undoing it the second time would be really annoying. The first time is annoying. They even had a wire nut on this wire here. This wire goes here, and your green wire goes, you can see where I labeled it on the oh come on, jeez, on the relay here, the green arrow is where the green wire goes, your earth. I can put that on. And these are them locking tabs. They slide over it. Flat blades with the little locking pin in the center. And you gotta push this little tab right there. Come on, right? Yeah, right at the tip of my thumb. That little tab pushes back and it unlocks it, because this little pin that you see in the center there is what locks it to the tab. And I've actually ripped wires right out of the whole holding harness and the wire holding harness straight out before on microwaves. That's how tight them things lock them in. I mean, they do a really too good of a job. It's almost overkill, but yeah, you don't want it to come apart. So now I'm having a total brain squeeze. Oh yeah, right here. Let's see if I have the, see that one, no, that one doesn't have the tab. That one's just got the generic. If I put it up, you can see it. Hopefully it'll, I gotta set this aside to focus to it. It'll focus to see the very center, the copper, little copper spot right there. That's already rubbed. It's been in and off a couple times, but that's a little bump, and that helps hold it on, believe it or not. So that's where my other, that's where, let's see, that is my AC, oh, I can't see it, it says plus, AC plus, or no, AC neutral. Wow, it looked like a plus for a second. ACN, so AC neutral, and then the other one we plugged in, or that we were going to wire up, is our hot, and that goes right into the heating element and all the fusible link and all that. See, I put the red on this, red arrow on that capacitor. Getting it in there is fun, but it will go. Get in there. Get home. So that's about it. Putting it back together. Now, I'm going to probably solder this. I'm not a big fan of wire nuts. You know what, I'll wire nut it in case I gotta take it back apart. And yeah, let me do that quick. You know what I'll do is I'll use the crimp style wire nuts. That way it locks it on. That way it ain't going anywhere. I ain't gotta worry about it. Yeah, this style. Right there. Always go the wrong way with it. Never move your back row. Ever. I got two different types of pliers for these. Actually, I got these for squeezing it to it, and then these are little different ones. I don't even know what these are actually for. But see, they're meant for each. They actually puncture right into it. So, because these, I don't care how tight you squeeze these pliers on these sleeve things, I've had them pull out all the time. Especially when they're soldered like this. It doesn't bite in as good as, but I've had both pull out, even when they're just normal wires. Alright, this, and then boom, that goes on, and that is it. Yeah. Oh, finger locked up. Is it gonna go? Are they going? It's a little fat. Little chubby solder spot. I'll clip it off. That should let it in. If I can get a hold of it. Oh yeah. Shot wire shards all over my shirt. That's funny. Alright, get in there. The one wire is really flimsy and the other is super stiff. So, the stiff one's fine, it's the flimsy one that I really want to make sure gets in. See what I mean? It just kinks right over. Yeah, it'd be a lot easier if they weren't soldered, but maybe I'll just solder them. The iron's right there and it'll take 5 seconds to warm up. Just about, okay, I lied, about 10 seconds to warm up, and that's not lying. That thing is, I love my soldering irons. Especially that it stops working. It's got the accelerometer in it. Yeah! I'm just gonna give him a little tug. Now I'm gonna hit him with the beast, which is a little puncturing tool. That way it punctures right into him and makes a good connection. There we go. Yeah, that ain't coming off. And if I got to get back into it, I will just cut it. You can see it just punctures right through it. Right into it, real nice. Woo, see it punctures it. That way it really locks it together. Ain't going anywhere. Come on now. And we'll pull on my cord. Nice and easy. Get this lined up, and I want it tucked to where it stays out of the way if it can. Nice and easy. Everything looking good. Yeah, I can't. It's crazy that that one broke right off. Like it did. Again, you gotta. The way I had to do it was you'd do the bottom, and then you'd lean the top in, and then it right there would get tight, and then you'd pop it in. That ain't fitting right. It actually looks like it's supposed to go like this. Just the opposite. Oh, I'm forgetting the, but anyways, you see how that goes, and then it all snaps together. So I forget the strap for the cord, the relief, pressure relief for the cord. It's right here. Don't want to forget that, otherwise it will eventually get pulled out. Then I'll be having to fix that. You don't need that. Yeah, it's the strain relief. Oh, and put the screw in the board too. That might be nice. So, alright, I will wrap that up. I won't waste your guys' time anymore. And thanks again for stopping by Randy's Den. And have yourself a great day. And if you could do me a huge favor and just be kind to each other, right? Life is short. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Goodbye.